Hello and welcome to another edition of NAFDAC and Your Health, brought to you by NAFDAC, the agency that has the constitutional mandate of safeguarding the health of the nation by ensuring that you patronize only wholesome and approved food products, drugs, cosmetics, medical equipment, and chemicals. My name is Amanda Ugo.
Today on NAFDAC and Your Health, we begin by focusing on the dangerous act of using insecticides and pesticides in food as preservatives, a life-threatening act that has become a usual practice in our society. And then we'll move on to bring you the recent activities of NAFDAC from the agency's offices across the country. Food safety and food security are very important to NAFDAC. This is why the agency leaves no stone unturned in ensuring that food products are monitored from the ingredients used, place and points of production, including the supply chain that gets them to the final consumers, seeing to it that they get to the consumers in good condition. The agency's post-marketing surveillance also monitors the food products in markets and shelves where they are purchased by the consumers.
It was against this background that NAFDAC finds the video that has gone viral on various social media platforms of some retailers of certain food products spraying dicloflox, an insecticide on food products being displayed for sale. This has prompted the need to reiterate the dangers in this practice.
There is a lot of misuse of agrochemicals. An example is the sniper that is supposed to be agrochemicals that is being used as insecticide. And what is good for insects is not good for human beings. First of all, it's not supposed to be used within the house. It's supposed to be used on the field and on the farm, where the air will blow things out or no, blow the fumes up. The fact that a chemical can kill cockroach doesn't mean that that chemical cannot kill human beings. If it's insecticide, it is usually as a spray, and it is meant for indoor use. The clovers that people were using is not a spray, and it's not meant for indoor use. And to the point that people, some people use it, unfortunately, to commit suicide. And another thing is the size. They were being sold in 100 ml size that, on the roadside that anybody can easily buy. So that was why we put a ban on just the 100 ml and then restrict the sale of the bigger pack to dealers that have been given permits to sell. Agrochemicals that are supposed to be used on the field should not be used on beans. It is not just that it's harmful to the person applying it, but if those bags of beans will be shipped out as export, the other country will test for pesticide residue. They're going to be destroyed because there will be pesticide residue that will be left on it. And if they don't come through NAFDAC, we will not be able to test. But more importantly is the health of the person that is applying it. We Nigerians don't think chemicals can hurt us. Chemicals can kill slowly. It's just a matter of time. That person that is applying it over and over and over may start having problem with breathing, may start having problem, cancer causing, chemicals if such are, and that person may develop cancer later, especially if he has used it for so many years. So chemicals are very dangerous if they are misused.
Dr. Ramatu Muhammad, the Director of Veterinary Medicine and Applied Nutrition, speaks further on the use of preservatives and the right ways to use them if they have to be used.
It is not a normal practice, and it is not an approved practice to use certain chemicals, especially chemicals that we call pesticides, because yes, the information is around that, and people are saying that they use chemicals to protect grains, to prevent grains. There are some that are approved to be used, and there's a particular way it should be used, whether used as fumigants, and there's a particular level, there are concentrations to use it. But if you don't use it properly, it is going to affect the humans, and you cannot apply it directly to the food. It cannot be applied directly to the food, because if you apply it directly to the food, it's going to cause harm. It can cause nausea, it can cause vomiting, it can cause headaches, it can cause tremors, it can cause even respiratory issues or even coma that can lead to death. So we don't advise people to use pesticides directly on the grains or directly on food. Well, where they say they use it to preserve stockfish, they use it for beans and other grains, but it is not allowed. The agency has not approved it, and because they are very harmful chemicals and should not be used. There are chemicals and there are other ways food can be preserved. There are other ways grains can be preserved. There are some other substances known as biopesticides that can be used, carbon dioxide and different other such safe chemicals that can be used, but not diclovers. Diclovers is a pesticide and is very harmful.
The social media videos that are going around is of concern to the agency because of the health implications that have been associated with these products. And that is why it is important for us to let the public know that the direct use of diclovers on beans, crayfish, stockfish, and other products just in a bid to reduce pest infestation is very wrong. It is not allowed, because you must remember that once they have used it, then you have the pesticides residue that is remaining on the food, which is going to be consumed by humans, and then humans become exposed to this to diclovers, which is why you have all of these acute and long-term effects, short-term and long-term effects that I've talked about.
The NAFDAC personnel gives details on what dicloflox, the insecticide used to spray food products, is.
Now, diclovers is a chemical substance that is supposed to be used as an insecticide. Now, it is one which belongs to the organophosphate group of chemicals. Now, it is one that is very effective for the control of pests. However, it is toxic to human health and animal health.
The effect is, it can affect the respiratory tract, it can cause burning, it can cause different sensations, it can cause coughing, wheezing, and it can even lead to coma and death. These are even the acute effects, but there are also long-term effects from long-term exposures. It can lead to cancers, it can lead to death. So it is not advisable at all that people use these chemicals on food that is going to be consumed, directly on food that is going to be consumed.
The use of diclovers is you have it for stored pests, you have it for field pests, and you have it for public health importance. Now, for public health importance, we use diclovers in very reduced quantity, where you have it in your insecticides and aerosol sprays that we use in our household to control mosquitoes. And so the percentage concentration is very low. That's for public health effect. Then we have it for crops as well. You use it in the field, when crops are still in the field. Now you use it as a soil application to control pests in the soil. You are looking at wire worms, root maggots, and cutworms. You use it to control that. And then you also use it as a foliar application for leaves, when you are trying to control pests on leaves in the farm. Remember that we have always talked about the need to always adhere to pre-harvest period and then withholding periods, and this is where it comes in. So if you're using it for public health importance, where you spray, it means that once you spray a room, there is a withholding time. You leave the room for a certain period of time before you come back into the room. That's the withhold. So the essence is to make sure that whatever is left behind is one that will not be of any damage or any health effect to the human that is coming into the room. And then you have the field crop. You are adhering to pre-harvest period. Now the pre-harvest period is supposed to ensure that you leave the crop in the field for a certain period of time to allow the system of the crop to reduce the concentration of the diclovers. So which it's sort of looking at it like being biodegradable and reducing the residue content of the fruit. So you have period, days, which you must adhere to. You leave the farm, you leave the crops there, and you do not harvest until that period, that particular number of days has elapsed. And then you also have re-entry periods. Now, what we mean by the re-entry period is basically once you have sprayed a field, it is expected that you have a placard or like a notice just before the field to say that this particular product has been applied to the field. Don't go into the field, because remember, if you walk into the field, you walk very close to the crops and the leaves, and then you sort of brush off a little, and then you have residue on your skin, or you inhale. So these are issues that they are trying to press by adhering to some of this withholding time, and then knowing that you don't have to go into the premises. Now, the one I want to speak to now basically is the one that has to do with the storage of produce. Now, diclovos will be used as a stored pest. It's a fumigant. Basically what you use, you try to use it as maybe, they use it as strips or tablets or as liquid, where you spray or you apply to a room before you bring in your produce. So you spray into that room and then you leave. It's a fumigant because vapor is going to be released. Now the vapor will go into the nooks and crannies of the warehouse to kill insects or repel insects. So you use it and then you leave the room for a certain period of time. So you leave the room for you look at it now like the re-entry period, where you have to wait for a period of time before you now bring your grains or your produce into the warehouse. So for diclovos, that is the method it should be used.
Still, some consumers argue that washing the product will get the insecticide off the food product. To this, Dr. Ametu Momodu has this to say.
It's a chemical that gets into the product. It's not recommended at all. Washing does not remove it. Cooking does not remove it. Because they're chemicals. Heat cannot kill it.
The best thing for us to advise is that the grain merchants, the market sellers, the farmers should please ensure that they do not use diclovos directly on beans. They should please follow the manufacturer's specification.
In addition to the sensitization and public enlightenment carried out by NAFDAC, the agency also has regulatory measures in place to address the issue of misuse of agrochemicals.
There are many things we do to regulate. First and foremost, some of these chemicals are put on a license. So for you to be able to bring in chemicals into the country, you need to get a license from NAFDAC. And that license will tell you, will give you the permission to bring in a certain quantity as is stated. And beyond that, even the people who distribute it, we also issue them licenses. And from time to time, that's the agro-input dealers, and from time to time, we do surveillance. We go to these distributors, to check what they're doing, to ensure that they're selling it the correct way, to ensure that they're selling it to the correct people. And also, we do a lot of engagement with our stakeholders. We do educational activities. We teach them how to handle, how to use pesticides. And, we have such meetings where we also bring in experts who talk to them. So it is not just that about issuing a license. We issue a license, but we also stay with them, educating them, guiding them on proper and safe use of such chemicals, especially pesticides.
For products that are going to be registered or products that are going to be exported out of the country, we try through the lab to ensure that the pesticides residue limit is not above the maximum residue limit that has been set, to ensure that once products are exported out of the country, there will be no issues of rejection. And then once products are registered as well, it will be safe for human consumption. We've also tried to do monitoring. We routinely do monitoring. The last time we did a study where we did a sampling of beans in the open market in the 36 states. And the result of that study has given the agency we have been able to come up with some pre-informed decision on the regulatory steps that will be taken in that direction.
And if you know that there's someone who is doing this, who uses it to preserve the fish or the stock fish or any other product, don't buy from that person. And we even recommend that you report such activities to NAFDAC so that appropriate sanctions can be taken against the people.
You have been watching NAFDAC and Your Health. The program continues shortly. Don't go away.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. You are still tuned to NAFDAC and your health.
National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on the 30th of May, arraigned an alleged fake producer of schnapps and some fruit juice wines, Chinedu Okafo, before a Lagos Federal High Court. The 40-year-old defendant, whose firm's name is Sky Blue Company, according to the prosecutor, A. Ali, was arrested on April 26 at his residence, number 4, 1st MTN Road, Badagry, Lagos, where he was allegedly producing and processing apple multi-fruit juice wine, Eagle Aromatic Schnapps, and Lord's Gin. He was arraigned before the court on an 8-count charge of manufacturing, dealing, selling, distributing, being in possession of unwholesome processed food, and of the above listed drinks. The prosecutor told the court that the defendant's alleged illegal acts contravened Section 1C of the Counterfeit and Fake Drugs and Unwholesome Processed Act, Cap C34, and Section 11 and 13 of the Food and Drug Act, Cap F32, LFN 2004, and punishable under Section 17(1) of the same Act. The defendant, who was not represented by any lawyer, however, pleaded not guilty to all the count charges. Upon his not guilty plea, the prosecutor asked the court for the trial date, as well as urged the court to remand the defendant in the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Service till the determination of the charges. Justice Ambrose Lewis Alagoa, while conceding to the prosecutor's request, ordered that the defendant be remanded at the Lagos facility of the Nigerian Correctional Service. The case was however adjourned till the 10th of July for the commencement of the trial. The arm of the law once again caught up with drug hawkers and peddlers of unregistered and counterfeit drugs as the officers of the Federal Task Force in the Investigation and Enforcement Directorate of NAFDAC, in their usual routine, clamped down on popular markets within the Federal Capital Territory. NAFDAC has continued to beam its searchlight on this market in the past few months, since it had been discovered that the spate of drug hawking as well as unregistered and counterfeit drugs in circulation within Abuja had been on steady increase. It will be recalled that a few months ago, that officers of NAFDAC from the Investigation and Enforcement Directorate were at Area 1 Market, otherwise known as Gwagwalada Market, on a raid, but were attacked by a mob that destroyed their vehicles. These officers of NAFDAC, once again, recently with reinforcement, went back to Area 1 Market and other markets with the same mission. This time, the raid was a huge success. Mr. Suleiman Umar, an Assistant Chief Regulatory Officer of the Federal Task Force, Investigation and Enforcement, who led the team, talked about the area visited on the raid and the arrests made.
Gwagwalada Motor Park. Then we went to, after Area 1, behind Area 1, there's a place called, what's the name of the place again? Dunamis Market, yes. That market we raided it too. In that Area 1, we arrested 3 suspects. And Dunamis, we didn't make any arrest because they have heard that we were in Area 1 Motor Park and they absconded. Then we now moved to DADA Market. You know, DADA has 2 locations. the major road divided the market, the motor park and the market into two. So we raided both sides and we made an arrest of 8 suspects. Now we have total number of 11 suspects with us.
Mr. Umar also speaks on the kinds of products seized.
Most of the products are aphrodisiac, and some are hard drugs, analgesic, and some like this one I'm holding is called kurkura, a kurkura. Well, it's just an intoxicant, that's how I would say, a concoction, a kind of. And we have some other controlled drugs like this injection called lidocaine. We have tramadol 225 milligram and the rest. So these are the things that we have been finding with them. This is the type of the tramadol you can see we found with them. And these are drug hawkers. They are not pharmaceutical outlets. They are not even patent medicine, drug hawkers. Some that have even tried a little, they built a small kiosk with zinc and now put the drugs inside because they are trying to migrate to that kind of hawking.
The market value of the seized products was put as between 67 to 80 million naira. Speaking further, Mr. Umar said the raid would not stop and those arrested will be prosecuted according to the stipulations of the law. He added that apart from the fact that most of the products seized were unregistered and counterfeit, even hawkers of registered products have been arrested because hawking of drug is unlawful. Mr. Suleiman therefore allayed the fears of the public that the seized products will find their ways back into the market, saying with NAFDAC, nothing of such will happen. He also enjoined members of the public to desist from patronizing drug hawkers and peddlers of unregistered and counterfeit products. That was NAFDAC Update. You have been updated.
This is all we have for you on today's edition of NAFDAC and Your Health. Join us again next week for another informative and educative package. You can also help NAFDAC safeguard the health of the nation by supplying us with every information you have on the activities of peddlers of unwholesome and unapproved food products and other regulated products. If you have any information or inquiries, please reach out to us.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Please note, it is criminal to import, produce, distribute, market or sell unwholesome, unapproved or counterfeit food products, drugs, cosmetics, medical equipment and chemicals. Let us join hands with NAFDAC to have a healthy nation. Till next week, stay safe.